How often have I been asked to give my perspective, my review of all the good mob movies out there, and some of the bad ones also? So often. And you know what? It's become like a follower favorite. You really enjoy that. But I have another question that was asked of me. Michael, if you were watching Goodfellas, what kind of wine would you be drinking? And that's from many of you out there, all you wine enthusiasts that love our wine. So I thought it would be very interesting. I say, normally you pair wine with food, but how would you pair wine with a great mob movie? So let's give it a shot. I really gave it some thought, and they came up with a couple of ideas. And I've tasted every one of our wines, obviously. As a matter of fact, sometimes I'm sipping some wine when I'm doing a video, and I got to stop, and let me take some non-alcoholic, because it hits me pretty hard. I'm kind of a lightweight.
You're a lightweight.
Quite honestly. I can't drink and drink and drink all night long. That's not me. It was never that way. So we have such a great variety, and I was thinking about, I'm thinking about the characters, I'm thinking about the tone of the movie, and I'm saying, what wine would I pair with each one of those movies? So here we go. Godfather. Let's start with the best movie, obviously one of the best movies of all time, forgetting that it's a mob movie. And what did I come up with? I would have to say Areni. Really. Why? Legacy. The Godfather movie was a legacy piece, without a doubt. And our wine from the first vineyards, after the new civilization came into being, our Areni is like the first wine discovered in the New World. So it's really a legacy piece. It's kind of medium body, it's not too bold. And I look at The Godfather that way. I really do, as compared to some of the other movies. What I loved about that movie, there was no cursing in it. The guys were dignified. Don Corleone, I'm going to tell you this, people. Know this for a fact. I was on the street during that movie. When that movie came out, guys on the street were carrying themselves differently. All of a sudden, they had stature. Guys were dressing up a little differently. They wanted to be like Michael Corleone. They wanted to be like Don Corleone. And it was amazing. I watched the transition. Then I was a young guy. I was only a recruit at the time that came out. But it was pretty amazing. I think it was a recruit or just becoming mate at that time, whatever it was, forget the exact year, but it was unbelievable. So if I was sitting down and I said, all right, I have to pair my wine with that movie, it would definitely be Areni. Areni is an original, like The Godfather, original piece, world's oldest vineyard, goes down medium-bodied, you feel the punch, but it's not too strong. It's just light like a nice Pinot. And this is the original Pinot Noir. So I love it. It's my favorite, without a doubt. And, so I would pair Godfather with our Areni. Remember this now, if you're taking notes and you're going to sit down and watch the movie. Next, let's move on to the obvious, a movie everybody knows that I get mentioned about all the time because they had my character in the movie. And, of course, that's Goodfellas. What was Goodfellas? Boom, in your face. Characters in your face. Joe Pesci. Is there any better mob actor than that? I don't know. Not if you want a guy that's a little bit crazy and in your face. So I have to pair a Malbec with that because it's bold. And it hits you when you drink it. Really. You feel it. You're drinking a Malbec. It's just really, really good. So like Joe Pesci, he would be drinking my Malbec. Guaranteed, if we sat down and had a drink like that. And all the characters were that way. And, it was a fairly accurate film. They always take dramatic liberty in that. But it's a fairly accurate film. Now, why am I in that film? It was a different crew. I'm with the Colombos. That's a whole different crew. Had nothing to do with me, really. But I knew all of those guys. I knew Henry Hill very well. I knew Paulie Vario very well. I knew Jimmy Burke very well. Jimmy helped me out a lot when I got into prison. And when I was in a high-level institution, they had me in lockdown, and he would send stuff down to me that I needed. So I knew him. I liked Jimmy Burke a lot. So all those characters were, boom, in your face. And that's what a good Malbec is. And ours, especially good. You can get Malbec from different places, but to have it from Armenia, where ours comes from, different taste, very bold, beautiful. I'm telling you, people are loving it. All right, now we come to one of my favorite films, and that's The Bronx Tale. And those of you that follow me, Chaz Palminteri, a very dear friend of mine. As a matter of fact, we had our podcast together, The Wise and the Wise Guy, and you all loved it. You're all asking me, bring it back, Michael. Chaz gets the same comments from you. We've both been so busy, it's kind of hard. He's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. We didn't really want to do Zooms, but we're gonna bring it back for sure because you're all asking for it. So what would I pair there? That was a wonderful story. It's kind of a coming of age story for a young guy. You know, Chaz as the mob guy, I thought that was Chaz's best role, no doubt about it. But he was very smooth, you know, really smooth in that role. He just played it right. He reminded me of my dad, you know, the Sonny character. Wasn't patterned after my dad, but he reminded me of my dad. Very smooth. And my dad could be very smooth. So I would pair our white wine with that. I really would. I would be drinking that, watching the story, and, you know, coming of age for a little colloquio, and enjoying a sip of my white wine. So, white wine, Bronx Tale. You copying this down? Don't forget now, I'm going through a lot of trouble here, okay, to give you good advice. So remember, our Areni, the Godfather. You know, Goodfellas, Malbec, bold, in your face. And now we got a little calmer situation, great story, something smooth you want to relax with. That's our white wine with the Bronx Tale. All right, now we got, again, one of my favorite films, and I know you've seen my interview with this guy, with Donnie Brasco, the real Donnie Brasco. You know who that is? That's Joe Pesci. What would I put with that? You know, the whole story, the undercover operation, the whole bit. I think I would put my pomegranate wine. Why? Because Joe Pesci, he was undercover, Donnie Brasco. Well, my pomegranate wine, you're looking at it and you say, what is this, pomegranate? And all of a sudden, boom, it comes out of nowhere. Like, wow, you know, where did this guy come from? It's kind of like, you know, masquerading as something else, but it's really a wine, you know? And if you're into pomegranates, you're going to love this, no doubt. We can't keep enough of it on the shelves, flying off the shelves. So I can see myself sitting back there with a little pomegranate, a sip at a time, you know, again, feeling that just that nice flavor as it goes down, fruity, of course, and then watching Donnie Brasco as he basically takes down the entire Bonanno family at the time. I shouldn't be, you know, too happy about that. We only met one time on the street. We become good friends now. But we only met one time on the street with another friend that brought him over to my car dealership at that time. We spent 2 hours together, and I teased him. I say, Joe, you're a nice guy. Like you a lot now. I'm glad I didn't get to like you back then, because I wouldn't be sitting here. You would have put me in jail. But anyway, so again, pomegranate, you're wondering, what is this thing? It's like undercover as something else. And then boom, you taste it. Wow, it's wine. It's terrific. So pomegranate, we got now with Donnie Brasco. All right, now we come to, you know, I have to say this. Pacino was magnificent in this role in Scarface. You know, people have asked me, what do I think his best role was? I happen to think his best role was in Donnie Brasco. Why? Because I knew Lefty Ruggiero, Lefty Gun, so well, and he just captured that character so well. I mean, when I was watching it, I was just taken in by it. I really mean it. But you got to go to Scarface, and you got to go Pacino. Intense is the word. Did you ever see a more intense character? So what wine would I pair with that? A blackberry wine, because the flavor is so intense. It's real blackberry. You can taste it. It's coming through. It's coming right at you. No mistake. In a blind taste, you'll know that this is blackberry wine, and yet you're drinking wine.
That's nice.
I mean, it's really great. So the intensity of it, I definitely would have to match up with Scarface and Pacino's character there, because it was just so bold and brilliant. And I got to tell you, again, you know, number one, it's become close to my favorite. You know, I never was into fruity wines or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I never heard of any fruity wines. You can only get them from us. So where am I going to hear them? They're not anywhere else. We are changing the industry with these wines. Trust me. Why? Can't get enough. We can't. You know, we're going crazy trying to get it all here, but we will, because we will meet the demand, no doubt about it. But you want a great fruity wine to match up with an intense character, so you're going to be at the edge of your seat, drinking the wine, watching him. Don't drink too much, and you're going to love it. So blackberry wine, Scarface, you got it. All right, now we get to two of my favorite films. I got to tell you, you know, as soon as I mention his name, you're going to know who it is. Billy Crystal. What a great character in both movies. Analyze this and analyze that. He was terrific. I have to say, some of the scenes with him, he just, he made you laugh the whole way through. He was just brilliant in that film. So what would I do? These were fake mob guys. They weren't real. You know, the whole way it wasn't real. So with that, I have to pair it with our dry, non-alcoholic wine, okay, with Analyze This. And why do I say that? Because again, it tastes like a wine. We have a different process than anybody else there with non-alcoholic wines. We actually have our alcoholic wine, and then we extract the alcohol out of it. We don't extract the taste, we extract the alcohol. And it's non-alcoholic at that point. So it's really a fake wine, if you want to say. What would Trump say? Fake news, fake wine?
This is fake.
But it's got the taste of a real wine. It's really, really good. Flying off the shelves at Walmart. I got to tell you, all our wine is flying off the shelves, no doubt. So I would say, because the movie was about, kind of fake mob guys, I would pair our non-alcoholic dry with Analyze This. And let's go to Analyze That. Brilliant movie. Usually when there's a sequel, you're wondering, how's it going to be? Is it going to match up? They were both brilliant. Analyze That was just as good as the first one. It was terrific. So I would pair, again, not a fake wine, non-alcoholic wine, with fake Gangsters. I would pair it with our non-alcoholic semi-sweet. So you got the two non-alcoholic wines with the two comedies. Analyze This and Analyze That. So when you're drinking it, you have a good time. You're not going to get drunk. You're not going to feel. You're going to laugh the whole way through. And that's the kind of wine. You don't want anything to make you a little bit more solemn or a little bit more serious. So you're drinking the non-alcoholic wine. So I think we paired it up right. You want to review it again? We can go through it again. I don't want you to forget this. Okay? It's good, because you're going to sit down and watch these movies. You're going to remember me. So let's go. All right? Godfather. What are we doing? Our Areni. Why? Legendary. Original wine, original movie, the best. Goodfellas, what are we going with? Malbec, why? In your face. Joe Pesci, boom, takes this. The wine is as bold as Joe Pesci was in that movie, if you remember him. Bronx Tale, okay, great story, coming of age, Chaz Palminteri, good friend, little Cologio, you want to kind of sit back a little bit, mellow out, a white wine, perfect match for that, without a doubt. Next, we have Donnie Brasco with what? Our pomegranate wine. Why? Because it kind of sneaks up on you. You look at it, pomegranate, that's a fruit. Boom, then you taste it, it's wine. Terrific. So it's kind of undercover until you drink it.
You got a problem with that?
Just like Donnie Brasco was. Terrific. Then we come to Scarface. By the way, brilliant movie. Again, Pacino, brilliant, but boom, again, in your face, like our blackberry wine. You really taste it. It's bold. You taste the blackberry, and you do feel the alcohol in there a little bit, so be careful when you're drinking it.
Hello to my little friend.
It'll sneak up on you there, too. And then we have our two, Analyze This, Analyze That, our non-alcoholic, our dry wine, and our semi-sweet. Sit back, enjoy, relax. You're not going to get, too heavy. You're just going to relax it and laugh. That's what you're supposed to do. Drink the wine, laugh. Okay, so that's it. That's the Wise Guy or Franzese Guide to drinking certain wines, Franzese wines, with each movie that we talked about. So, have a glass of wine, watch the movie. You're going to enjoy it a little bit more now because you got Franzese wine to enjoy it with. You'll think about me throughout. And all I can say, that's it. So, salud, my friends. How do I always leave you? Same way. It's never going to change. No matter what you say, no matter where I am, no matter what I do, it will never change. Be safe, because I care about you. Be healthy, because I care about, and by the way, our wines are healthy. No added sulfites. What does that mean? You're not going to get a hangover. You're going to have to really, really dump down our wine to try to get a hangover. You're not going to get it. No added sulfites. Okay, and I promise you that. Take my word on that. Be safe, be healthy. God bless each and every one of you. And yes, I'll see you next time. Salud.